Hi, I'm Heather from Heather Handmade. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have another great handmade gift idea. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a casserole carrier. So there is a pattern you can get on my website. You can get the link in the description. You can, when you go there, you can enter your email to get the free pattern, or you can purchase the pattern and instructions in my shop. So I have made two of these, and these are so great for when you are taking something like a pie or a casserole or some sort of dish that you want to take with you, and it's maybe warm, or you want to keep it warm, or you want to keep it cold. You use quilting cotton to make these. This one I used fusible fleece, and it is a little bit thinner. It probably wouldn't work for something straight out of the oven. It'd probably have to cool off a little bit before you put it in. This one I use cotton batting because that works better with heat, and I actually did a layer of Insul-Bright, which is like a insulated thing, so it's only down the center, so it's not so hard to sew, but this one is much thicker, and this would work really well for very hot things. So this one has a 9x13 glass pan inside right now. This one actually has a pie plate. It works for things that maybe are not quite as long as this. And my favorite thing is, I love that since it's a top and a bottom and it's kind of stiff, it will help so it won't it's not going to flop into your dish as much. This one is thinner, so you can see it's kind of falling in. This one is very stiff and it will not fall in. So this is better about, you could still push it in with your hand like this, but when you just barely sit it in there, it kind of holds its shape. The straps are great because it goes all the way around, so you don't have to worry about the seams coming undone or it falling open or something like that. It makes it nice and sturdy. You can use really fun, cute fabric to make a really cute casserole carrier. I am so excited to use mine. I have one that I got when we were first married 14 years ago that has gotten dirty, and it's a different style that I don't like. It has more things that come over and fall down inside, so I like this style a lot better. I can't wait to use it for all of the holidays coming up and all the dishes I'm going to be making, and so I can easily share it with this casserole carrier. Let's get started. For this project you will need the pattern, which you can get on my blog. You can find the link in the description. You will use quilting cotton for everything. I have already cut out my pieces. So this is the main piece. I'm doing 4 of the same pieces of fabric. If you're doing the same fabric, then you will need 1 yard, and you'll use almost the whole yard. If you want to do different fabrics, then you would need half a yard each. I have also cut out the straps. So I used a fat quarter, and so I'm actually going to add a seam in the middle. So there's going to be an extra seam for that. And then you'll need 2 pieces of interfacing for the main piece, 2 pieces of interfacing for the straps, 2 pieces of cotton fleece for the main piece, and I'm going to add this Insul-Bright just kind of in the center. Once I put this together, I'm going to add it in just like this. It's going to make right here a little bit thicker and a little bit harder to sew, but this will add really good insulation to the very center where the heat of the pan will be. Now I'm going to fuse the interfacing to 2 of these main pieces and the straps. So you have 2 pieces that are interfaced and 2 pieces that are just fabric. And what you are going to do, we're going to make essentially 2 sides. So you need to pair an interfaced piece with a non-interfaced piece. And you're going to put them right sides together, just like this. Then before you sew it and even pin it, take your fleece and put it, I'm putting it on the side that is not interfaced. And then I'm even taking this one and I'm putting it in the center like this. And it doesn't matter if the metal, like which way this shiny side is facing to have it work, it doesn't matter. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces or 4 layers on one, 5 if you count the interfacing, and I'm going to pin these layers together. Now you're going to sew around these edges with a 3/8 inch seam allowance, and you're going to pivot at the corners. Leave like a pretty big hole, maybe 3 to 4 inches open to turn it right side out. Backstitch when you start and then come around and when you stop. Make sure you put the hole on these long sides because you don't want to have to try to turn it right side out through this. This would just, it would be a lot of fabric to work with. So now take your scissors and you are going to trim all of the corners. Also, you can go through and trim some of the batting down so that it won't be so thick right here along the edges. Now you're going to turn these right side out through the hole. Now I'm taking a point turner and I'm going to carefully poke out these corners so that they are a little more like 90 degrees. Now I'm going to iron these edges flat. And make sure that this seam that you press the fabric and the batting the way that the seam would be. Once you have these pressed, you are going to sew around the entire edge with a 1/8 inch seam allowance, and make sure that you're, where this hole is, that you're pinching it closed and have a nice edge. That will close the hole and it will help the edges be nice and crisp. Now for the straps, we're going to fold it in half like this, the long edges, and then having the long edges come in to meet at that fold and pressing, and then you fold all 3 folds. So let me show you how I do that. Now that you have these pressed, you are going to open the folds and match up these short ends. You're going to sew these ends together with a 3/8 inch seam allowance backstitch when you start and when you stop. So you're going to fold these back up. Once it's folded back up, you are going to sew along each long edge with a 1/8 inch seam allowance to close this and to make the straps nice and durable. So now you are going to take one of these. This will become the bottom. Take your straps, and it doesn't matter where the seam is, if you're going to put it here and have one seam on the top, or if you want to do it side to side. So you're going to place your straps, and you want it like about the same, like you're splitting it into thirds. And what we're going to do is we're going to sew a rectangle through the strap and this rectangle piece to secure it. You're not going to go all the way to the edge. It's just kind of like 6 inches in the middle. So I'm going to pin it like this, and this is a lot of layers that you're going to be sewing together. Now you kind of want to pin these straps out of the way, because the next step, you don't want them to, get in the way to get sewn through. So I'm just going to kind of layer these up and pin them together. Okay, now these are the two sides. This is the bottom, this is the top. And it doesn't matter, I can kind of feel which side is interfacing versus batting. It doesn't matter which side you put the straps on, it doesn't matter which side you put together. But we are going to layer them together like this, matching up the corners. It might be that it's slightly different shape because of how it was turned right side out. But you're going to pin these layers together. This is the one of the last steps, but this is going to be tricky because the fabric this is thick fabric. You're going to be working with lots of layers. So now what you do is you are going to start here, you're going to sew, and we're not going to turn it right side out, we're just sewing the top and the bottom together. So sew 3 sides, leave one short end open. Make sure you backstitch really, really well when you start, because you want this opening to be strong where the seam is. I'm not going to sew at 1/8, I'm going to sew at 3/8 or maybe a 1/4 inch, just kind of in between there, so that I make sure I catch all the edges. Because I have the insole bright inside, this side is going to be very thick and tricky. So We'll see how it goes. If you ever have a seam that is hard because it's really thick, you can go through and you can actually hammer where you're going to sew, and that helps pack down the fabric enough to be able to sew through it. So you can check to make sure you caught all the edges, which I have. I'm going to take this off. And then your straps will wrap around like this. If you want, you can go through and I'm going to go through and stitch. I'm stitching the strap right here to this seam allowance on both sides, just to keep the straps, you know, spread out straight on the bottom. Now the last thing to do is add some sort of closure here. I'm just going to add one plastic snap here because that's my favorite thing to use. You can also do Velcro or a button, whatever you want here. So let's say I just pulled this out of the oven, I'm ready to go. I'm going to slide it inside. It fits all the way in, you snap it closed, and then I can take it wherever I need to go. It's not a perfect thing to keep it warm, but it will do its job to keep it just warm enough. And it is kind of like a hot pad because of all of that batting inside. So it's just a little bit safer for any surfaces you put it on. And that is how you make a casserole carrier. I can't wait to see all of the casserole carriers that you make. Please share them with me on social media. Check out these playlists with kitchen sewing projects and home sewing projects. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day.